Hey, Adam.
Another day, another dollar.
Another day, another dollar. Buddy, there has been some changes.
Yes. Also, our cameras are not on the right things. That's going to bug me.
Oh, man.
But it's okay.
Are you good? Do you need to switch
late.
it? We're too far in.
We're too late.
Guys, you'll notice there has been a change in the studio. Not really so much where we do it, just positioning.
I mean, it sounds the same. To those who are listening to this on a podcast, you'll notice there's a studio. We sound happier.
We do sound happier. You know why? Because there was less setup. Well, there wasn't less setup today because this is the first one since we moved locations.
Yeah.
In the Final Descent Outdoors office, we've moved to one end of the office. We were kind of in the middle of the room, and I just kept to move the table.
It got annoying.
It was annoying.
The back and forth became real annoying.
It did become real annoying. And so we've moved, and this is now a permanent home. So we are here. There's no having to move things. It just makes life a little bit easier for all of us.
And we just, for you, the viewers, we hung up the sign back here.
Yeah, this sign hung on the outside of the office, and the wind blew it down a couple times, and so
we abandoned that ship.
Yeah, we abandoned that ship, and so here we are. One of the things that I absolutely love, Adam, is that there is a signed Brian Bosworth OU football helmet directly over your head. Can we go to the cut of you? You can barely see it at the top. Oh, don't you even try to block out the Boz.
There we go. The Boz has been blocked.
An OU football helmet autographed over the top of you.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. We need to adjust that camera so we can see that just a bit more.
The camera angle is less about you and more about just getting the helmet. Mm-hmm. Getting the helmet involved is what we're really all about.
You are back on the diet.
I'm back, baby. Going down to 175.
What?
Yeah.
175 is the goal. 200 was a goal before, right?
Yes.
And you beat that.
Yeah, I got down to...
Scorched it.
Got down to 193, actually. But even then, I was like, I'm not thin by any stretch of the imagination.
Are you looking for people to feel sorry for you? Is that what's happening? I mean, you're trying to look like you're... Oh, my house burned down. Now I'm malnourished.
Now I'm malnourished, too. Speaking of which.
Oh, it's time.
It's time for my thoroughly delicious and nutritious bar.
Can I have a bite?
Absolutely not. Every bite of this is precious. Absolutely precious.
I already knew the answer to that before I asked. I was like, there's not a chance in the world this guy would let me have a bite of that.
I do got my favorite, though, which is the peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
It was the way to go.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the peanut butter is a really good option. Mm-hmm. I keep saying I need to get back on. I need to do this with you.
You just got to jump back in.
I know.
You got the box.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know how.
It's just a motivation to get there.
Mm-hmm. It is. No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. I need to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but once again, we've switched up our location. Beautiful.
It looks really good.
It does look nice, man. We've got scimitar horned oryx over my shoulder. Beautiful redhead.
Kind of looks like you have Satan horns.
Some people would agree with that, Adam. There's a few out there that would agree with that. I'm not saying names, but you know who you are.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not the devil that you think I am. And then we've got this beautiful double-bearded Rio Grande turkey that my oldest son, Matthias, shot. It was one of those moments as a dad, I almost took the gun from him. When I realized, I knew he had a rope, and we worked that bird. I mean, we worked him all day. He was in a wheat field strutting western Oklahoma all day, and I tried to call him. He had like 14 hens. And I circled him on that field, man, just calling to him. And he'd gobble and he'd talk to me, but he wasn't leaving the real thing. And so it was an ambush situation. He had about 600 yards to go from that wheat field to his roost trees, and we got in a ditch in between him and it. That evening, probably still 450 yards away from his roost trees.
Yeah,
and he pushed some hens, come right to us, and Matthias smashed him. It was awesome.
Laid the hammer down.
Which
Speaking of turkeys, some real exciting news on the Brad Clay front.
Yeah.
Some really exciting news.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Brad, may I introduce to you board member Brad Clay?
Yeah. I have really honored, blessed to say that I have been asked and voted in to serve on the board of directors for Turkeys for Tomorrow. An organization that is all about turkeys and the survival of turkeys. And if you're a turkey hunter, even if you're not a turkey hunter, but you're a landowner and you're observant,
yes,
our turkeys are in a mess.
In a dumpster fire. That's
we are in a mess when it comes to our turkeys. And obviously conservation is a huge part of what we're about. We care about those things and putting into those practices into our own properties. If that's proper doe management, we've met with I've had Marcus Thibodeau, one of the Oklahoma wildlife biologists, come out to our property in western Oklahoma, look at it, talk with him about our doe population, giving us depredation doe tags to be able to help control our turkey, or not our turkey, but our whitetail numbers, and get that balance a little bit better to help with overall herd health and all kinds of things. Food plot, supplemental feeding, all the things, habitat management. But I realized our turkeys are in our major decline, and I've shared this with the guys on the board, and other people have heard me talk about this, but I honestly believe 15 years ago, my family's property in western Oklahoma was the best Rio Grande turkey hunting in the United States, hands down.
Yeah.
If you put a gun to my head, okay, and you said, Brad, you have 1 hour to kill a turkey, I could go behind my grandma's house on our family's ranch, where the big watershed is. You've seen it 100 times. Yeah. Out the back of that spillway is the most beautiful cottonwood bottom.
Oh, it's huge.
Right? Beautiful.
Trees are
beautiful,
massive.
big cottonwoods.
Massive trees.
They run down, they meet Rush Creek. You've got water. You've got it just feels like you've got great habitat. All the things. And so if you would have 15 years ago said, Brad, you've got 1 hour to kill a turkey, put a gun to my head, I could have went behind my grandma's house. I could have called, and within an hour I'd have killed a turkey.
You wonder who I wonder if our most participatory sponsor would be interested in getting on with Turkeys for Tomorrow.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Burlington Northern Santa Fe. I don't know. We've moved a little bit further away from the door.
I could hear it clear.
You could hear. I could hear it too. I could hear it, but I'm here.
Yes.
They're not here.
No.
The train went by.
Let us know down in the comments if you.
I can't believe they still haven't emailed me back.
Yeah, it's like they're missing. It's like they are worried that it's nobody that's emailing them or something.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know what I mean? What an opportunity. So if anybody out there works for Burlington Northern Santa Fe, you should let them know that I've reached out to them.
Yeah.
About partnership opportunities here with the podcast. I mean, dozens of people listen to this.
Yeah, and
dozens of people.
And the deal is, like, when you talk about, like, hey, put a gun to my head and go kill a turkey, like, it's not even a stress factor.
No.
It's like,
I'm there
put a gun in your head.
For
easy.
30 years of my life, 150 turkeys roosted behind that dam.
Oh, yeah.
Every night. It was unbelievable. It was one of the coolest things to be able to slide down in there of a morning, set up back off the roost, but being able to hear them just hammering.
Yeah.
And Adam, there hasn't been a turkey roost in those cottonwoods in 10 years.
It's sad. I mean, on that same phone call that we were talking about with Full Strut Media, doing some work with them, I remember saying the same thing. I remember riding four-wheelers around up in Wellston, and you'd turn a corner and there'd be 40 turkeys in a group. Mm-hmm. And they're just like last year I saw 3.
Yep.
2 hens and a tom. Yep. And then just recently I've seen 2 jakes, and then even more recent, Casey was driving down the road and she saw there's probably 8 poults. Like, it was a big old group of babies.
Yeah.
That were running around. So some good signs happening, but still it doesn't. There's a lot of work to be done.
Well, what was the deciding factor for me is like, okay, I have to do something. I have to be involved in something. I need answers for something. was this bird right here above my head, right? We just talked about. That was my oldest son, harvested that bird. That's the only turkey that he's harvested. But this year, my 8-year-old son, Josiah, the sweet one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like.
The one you don't want to let down.
You don't ever let JoJo down. Mm-hmm. He's just the sweetest kid. And did I tell you I came in, was running, it was when I flew in from speaking in Albany, New York area 2 weeks ago. And I just kind of made the announcement to the family. I was like, listen, I landed like at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up and going to service. I'll go to small group, but I'm not going to service. Well, everybody got that memo except JoJo, and at 8 o'clock he came in and was like, Dad, get up. We got to get ready. We're going to be late for church. Also, what do you want for breakfast? What? You know, I mean, so he's just this sweet, always thinks of other people. So Josiah basically says, Dad, I want to kill a turkey. And one of the hardest things I had to say is, buddy, we can't do that.
Yeah.
We don't have enough birds to hunt. And that was hard, man. That's hard. That's hard to say to your boy when he wants to go and do that. And I shared that on a conference call with some of the folks from Turkeys for Tomorrow, and also one of the fellow board members, Dan Brahman.
Yeah.
You know, that's how part of the conversation kept going with me being more than just helping the organization with media needs, but also serving on the board of directors. And so I'm new to that. I'm a week in at this point on being on the board of directors, but I had a phone call yesterday that was incredibly interesting. The board, we were on the phone with a biologist from Auburn University, talking about a study they did about poult survival, and just a wealth of information.
Wow.
It was really, really cool. And we're doing some cool things when it comes to continuing some studies on eastern turkeys. And then also have a study that's coming up that we're going to be partnering with the Texas Wildlife Department, do a private land studies as well. But we can't just be about studies. There's so many studies that have been done. It's like, okay, now let's talk about results. And so that was a big difference for me of why I wanted to be a part of Turkeys for Tomorrow before I was even in a role of where I am now, was because of the fact that they really talked about results. Yeah. And we get asked a lot, what's the difference between Turkeys for Tomorrow and National Wild Turkeys Federation? We need both organizations. All conservation is good conservation. And so I don't want anybody, feeling like, oh, there's this competition. We need both. Matter of fact, we've partnered in funding of multiple studies together. Yeah. And so we need one another. We just feel like there's maybe a group of people who maybe are being missed, that this is a way for them to come in and be involved in conservation, and we can reach those people, and they can be a part of helping save the turkeys. Because if we don't do it, it's going to end up like our quail.
It'll be like quail. 100% it'll be like quail.
It'll be like our quail.
They'll be gone.
They're nearly gone, almost completely. It's unbelievable. Because the same thing, growing up as a kid, we had so many quail. Quail.
I remember riding four-wheelers out in Wellston, and you just hit coveys.
Like, ah! Yeah, exactly. There's nothing gets like your heart pumping.
Stepping
into a covey of quail.
That's got to be your nightmare, stepping to an exploding bird bomb.
It ranks up there.
It's up there, stepping into a covey.
Would you ever thought that Brad Clay would be on a board of helping save a bird? The irony of that is actually, that's pretty good, because the people that know me know that I do not.
You do not do birds.
I don't do birds. The bigger the bird is, the better. It's the smaller the bird that bothers me.
But when do you cross that threshold of the bird being too big, like an emu, or
I had to run in with an emu,
or
once.
like an ostrich?
You know how to run in with an emu one time?
No, I did not know.
Do you don't know about this?
No, I did not know that.
All right. So, do you remember when raising emus was like the hot like thing?
The fad?
It was the fad. Like, people were like raising them, like, oh, you talk about making an omelet, big old bird egg,
Yeah.
And they were selling emu meat.
How often does an emu lay an egg?
I don't know the specifics.
Doesn't seem worth it. The payoff.
I don't know. I mean, if they're like a chicken that they're
there's
pretty
pumping
red,
out eggs all the time.
and they're just big old green eggs. You know,
That's one heck of an omelet.
oh, it's a big old omelet. That's a family size. You know, but anyway, our neighbor in high school had emus. Well, whatever happened, the bottom fell out of the emu market.
Oh boy,
it collapsed. And so people are like, man, it ain't worth feeding these things anymore. We can't even get rid of them, you know?
Yeah.
And so...
I could get rid of them.
Well, I say this. I'm not going to say he let them go, but they got out.
They escaped.
They escaped. And we lived out in the country. I lived south of Allen, Oklahoma, off Highway 48. And the property we lived on had a pretty big fishing hole behind our house, about half a mile. And so I would walk with my fishing pole. And
so how old are you at this point?
Oh, man, I'm 15.
Okay.
15 years old.
Okay.
And I had a pair of flip-flops on going fishing. All right. And I'm hiking my way back. And I came face to face with an emu.
Literally face to face.
I mean, I come around a tree and we saw one another 7-8 foot from one another. We saw one another about the same time. The last thing I expected to see on that little trail leading to the fishing hole was an emu.
You're completely not prepared for the outcome.
They're not nice.
No, they're not.
They are a mean
They are not
bird.
nice.
And it started to bow up, like it was like kind of raised up, puffed its chest out. I ran a 41940 back to my house. Those flip-flops, you could hear them just... I mean...
Sound like a guy putting on a roof. Just
popping. Oh, yeah. I was popping them flip-flops, bro. Because I don't do birds.
No. Especially a velociraptor size
Yeah, no.
bird.
Have you ever heard one? The noise they make?
No.
No, it sounds like a velociraptor.
It sounds like a full-on dinosaur.
Yeah, back when I was in the TikTok world, before they canceled me.
Yeah.
There was a TikTok of this woman that she raised emus, and they would charge her, and she'd be walking, and she'd be like, they'd run, and she'd just like hold her hand out like stop, and he'd be like, and I'm like, ain't no way.
That's like you walk back in the house with it, get the 12 gauge, come back out, and be like,
you're
one
done.
more time.
Yeah, one more time, bud.
Have you ever seen an emu decapitated?
Incredible. But anyway, so here I am on a board to
save a bird.
To save a bird. Who would have ever thought it? Not me.
No.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Would you look at that?
So anyway, but it's an incredible honor to be a part of. And so if you have never heard of Turkeys for Tomorrow, it's a conservation group. There is not... board members don't make money. We're not paid.
Mm-hmm.
It is 100% about the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
It's an organization about the turkey, and we need as many organizations. We need as many groups that are lobbying to make sure laws are being passed by wildlife departments in our country to make sure that birds are protected. I appreciate the state of Oklahoma because they took initiative.
Yeah.
They looked at it and said,
initiative.
we got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're going from a 3-bird state to a 1-bird state. We want to give toms an opportunity to breed. We're going to bump back the season so that they have more time to breed so we can have more nests. Hopefully it creates more poults, which is hopefully going to lead to more turkeys overall. So the Oklahoma Wildlife Department, I tell people all the time, we have a great wildlife department. Yeah. So good that they literally, their website is wildlifedepartment.com.
Yeah, we got it.
That's gangster, bro.
That's gangster. Like that. Well, on top of that, like somebody was saying something about the coons doing that kind of because I'm at a point where I need to wage all out war on coons.
Yeah. So a turkey, a quail, they are definitely bottom of the food chain in a lot of ways, especially with their young. Right. Mm-hmm. And a recent study was done where little bitty tiny tracking devices were placed on poults. I mean, like microscopic.
Yeah.
And, one was eaten by a cottonmouth snake. Walking by, snake grabbed it up.
Nom.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they are literally food to
everything.
but our protecting our nest. And so a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that are very, very, very adamant saying one of our main issue is predator, nest predator.
Mm-hmm.
The state of South Dakota has actually issued implemented in an interesting idea. They have set aside, I believe, $500,000.
Wow.
From the Wildlife Department at $5 a piece for trapping nest predators.
Wow.
So you kill a coon, you kill a raccoon, it's $5.
Is there a limit?
Oh, I mean, I've got one trail camera picture. It's got 22 coons in one picture.
I was like, we got thousands of dollars sitting at our feet.
We do.
Just sitting on a gold mine, Trebek.
And so there's a lot of people that feel like that is an answer. There's research that's been done about, going in and trapping and how that does help. Now, you have to get after it. I don't think you can just be like, well, I trapped 3 or 4 coons. That ain't it. That ain't going to do it. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't help.
That's what I said.
You got to get after
war.
Yeah, you got to rage war. And there's a lot of people that say, from a turkey conservation aspect, when I was a kid, people coon hunted. We had coon dogs. In Raid in America, there used to be this coon dog competition.
Hurley's reading where the red fern grows right now.
Oh, man.
We started watching the movie, and it's an old movie. You got about 20 minutes into it, and he's like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
It's so good, though. It's so good.
Yeah.
But there used to be so many people that coon hunted. I remember as a kid, they did a swimming competition, and they put this coon in a cage. And they had a cable, and they drug him over the top of this water, and the dogs would swim after him. Mm-hmm. And there was a race to see which one could, catch him. Win swimming across a pond. It was so much fun. People coon hunted. Everybody went out that night, coon hunted. Nobody does that anymore. The furs aren't worth anything.
Yeah. Well,
there's no incentive. People are just busy.
Yeah.
And
the art of dog hunting is in major decline too.
That's a great point.
It's
across
sad.
the board. No, that was one of my favorite things about being a duck hunter.
Well, dogs and even quail. Like there's nothing like going to watch a bird dog work.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
It's just fascinating.
When I had Boduk, my lab, who picked up this bird right here. Don't get me teary thinking about that. He did that. He passed away several years back. There's times I would just say, man, I don't even need to bring a gun. I'll just watch my dog work.
Yeah.
I'll just make sure Bo does a great job, and he was so good. But you're right. There's an art of dog hunting that is in decline.
Yeah.
I spoke at an event here in Oklahoma. I had a guy who's a big coon hunter who gave me his phone number and said, you want to go coon hunting? Let's go coon hunting. It'll be fun.
That'd be fun to take.
We should go film it. Can we go film coon hunting?
I mean, well, and part of that, and some of the onus is on us. I mean, when you think about hunting now, it's there's the whitetail market.
Yeah,
it's huge. I mean, it's not like people are watching TV to go watch coon hunts or going to watch these other nest predator hunts. It's stuff like that we could bring awareness to it in other ways too as well, even if it's just in the form of, like, I would love to go film those coon dogs go after tree and coons and all kinds of things. That'd be a lot of fun.
So you're saying it's our fault?
Yes, mostly.
It's Brad.
Well, mostly your fault. You've been doing it longer than me, but you really dropped the ball, Brad.
Yeah, I haven't brought enough awareness. So my dad, I still have the hat. My dad has a hat from an organization called Coon Hunters for Christ.
I love it.
I'm going to wear it.
Reprint it.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Do you think the organization still exists?
I don't know. It's worth a Google.
Hold on. Stand by.
I'd like to know if Coon Hunters for Christ is an organization that's still in play. And if it is, we need to reach out to them. Maybe they want to sponsor this podcast.
Coon Hunters, the number 4.
Is it really?
Well, no. Okay, so there's some.
I'm looking.
There's some Facebook groups.
Okay.
Facebook group, Coon Hunters for Christ organization.
When was the last time somebody posted in there?
2016.
Well, it's been a minute.
Got
to fire it back up.
Got a good-looking dog there.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that walker.
Oh, getting after it.
Oh, golly. All right, we're doing this. I'm going to call that guy. He lives in Guthrie. He lives here.
It's a night thing. We could easily go do that.
Oh, that'd be so fun. And he's an old man. Surely we can keep up with him.
Oh, yeah.
He just burns us across the pastures. Hold on, I gotta eat my peanut butter.
Hold on, I gotta eat my Optavia. I'm malnourished.
Oh gosh,
Some more, Pa.
But there's a lot of people that do feel about the coon hunting and just nest predator in general is a key element. There's studies that say, hey, that's great, but the main issue is habitat. One of the big issues in Oklahoma is red cedars. Are a major issue, that those red cedars get up underneath those cottonwoods.
Welcome to the club, turkeys.
Yeah, and so the red cedars become a major issue for their habitat, which leads to them just not being able to use the same roost trees, giving predators even more of an advantage because they can hide in and around those, and they provide such great cover that they're easier to be ambushed. All kinds of things. So, habitat, I believe predator control, all those things do play a major role. But we got to continue to do studies to learn more. And then once we learn that information, we got to be able to pass that along to people, because there's people that are passionate about turkeys, and I believe you are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you want to see the turkeys on your property.
Yes.
Thrive.
And it was kind of the same deal. Like Hurley and I wanted to go you and I went out turkey hunting. We had that one big tom, and we were like, well, we'll go try, and forgot one key factor, and that the hunting cat doesn't usually help your.
We did have a cat that followed us the whole time, and I knew it was going to be
kill,
bad.
Brownie, kill.
Kill, Brownie, kill.
Now at that point, I think it was more about getting my mind off things than actually hunting at that point.
What had just happened?
I don't remember.
Your house burned down.
Tragic.
That's what it was. Your house burned.
No
Speaking of your house burning down. All right, sorry, my ear. I got an itch.
Yeah. Getting there deep.
Getting there real deep. Like, give me your keys. Let me dig in there. My grandpa used to always do that.
Why does it make my throat hurt?
He'd get his house key and just dig in his ear. Just covered in wax.
Oh, yeah.
He'd wipe it off on his sleeve.
Dude never replaced a doorknob in his life.
Oh, they're all lubed up.
The salve. The salve that's on those keys, just constant lubrication.
Oh, that's gross.
Golly, you touched those doorknobs too at some point.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, gosh.
I did.
You probably touched the keys too.
I had Ray Clay earwax.
Essence of Ray.
Essence of Ray. Oh, anyway, speaking of your home burning down, something very, very exciting happened today.
Yeah, it was fun. It was neat.
It burned again?
It burned down again. We finished it, and then we promptly just lit it back on fire. So, try again. No, the house burned down in March, and we're sitting here at the end of August, approximately, and it's been a long road trying to wait to get the ball back rolling again, and delays, things happening, and I hate talking about it because it is such a blessing to be in the house that we're living in, but it's tough living in a 2-bedroom house with 5 people,
especially when your youngest is
when she's 1.
She's 1 year old, and she has a touch of tyrant.
Not a touch. She's been hit in the face with a board of tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So,
yeah, she's got a little pirate in her.
Addie face. It's like that card I sent you.
I know, man. I immediately
pirate.
Yes. Just forget it all. Become a pirate.
Yeah, forget it. She's a pirate. No, she's a pirate. 100% a pirate. But so it's tough. And there's the past. She's been on a stint here lately. She wakes up every day at about somewhere between 4:30 and 5, and she's up. Mm-hmm. And that's tough. I mean, our other kids, we would have said, you're going to have to get over that in your room.
Yeah.
You're going to have to cry that out for a little bit.
But you can't do that because all 3 of your kids share a room.
All 3 of them share the room, and, they got to go to school. So we get her up, take her in the room, and, try to sleep in between it. But, or I just get up. But there's times where it's been tough, and you sit there and you go, gosh dang it. And I literally have woke up and been like, man, I'm so tired of this. And you get to that point of breaking when you're tired or when you're weak. But then you immediately start to remember, like I remember looking for houses.
Yeah.
I remember looking for houses right after it was done. Started in Wellston, nothing. Went to Luther, Kearney, Meeker, nothing.
Check Falls.
No, there's nothing up there.
Oh,
There
okay.
was this blue house set up on a hill across the street, full of hornets.
Yeah.
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 Not appetizing.
No.
But, yeah.
You know what you need on those early mornings, Adam?
Oh, yeah.
You know what you need?
This is amazing.
You need some Deer Camp
Rise, Brew, Hunt.
Final Descent. Now, we have our own coffee.
We've got Final Descent coffee.
Our friends
Yes.
at Deer Camp Coffee have put together a specific blend for us. How cool is that? It's available on their website. It's a Rise Brew Hunt. This is a medium roast. It is so stinking good.
Have you tried it yet?
I have.
Is it good?
Is
Is it good? Okay. I haven't tried it yet. So.
Oh, it is delectably good. It is so good.
Yeah.
And so I'm having some Deer Camp, our podcast sponsor, out of our Taylor Target cups,
Yeah.
which are really, really cool, by
Yeah.
the way. I really like those.
They are
I
they
like
are
'em a
super
lot.
cool cups. I love the color. It's really hard for me to complain about the color of any Taylor Target stuff because they sent the swatch for Oklahoma State's orange.
Yeah.
That's like we wanted that color.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get behind that.
Let me go to you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that OU helmet. Just make sure it hadn't moved.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. So you thought that was a good time to bring up since you've been tired.
Yeah. No.
Getting up at 4:30 a.m. You need a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So but something
anyway,
big happened.
Yeah. So we got up this morning, looked across the street, and there's an excavator.
Oh man.
Excavator there. They dropped off a bulldozer last week. I
Actually
drove.
tore down your shop building in your office. They thought
Well,
it had to
we're
go
done.
to.
Oh crap! Oh crap! I don't know if insurance covers the bulldozer damage. So yeah,
The bulldozer's insurance would cover bulldozer
Yes, it
damage.
would.
Yes,
Yes,
he
it
would.
would.
Yeah, he'd be suing his pants off.
that would be. Oh, I can't imagine. But yes. So this morning, the guys were there. Got up. They were out there at 7. Just walked across the street or drove across the street and talked to them. They got the bulldozer set up on the pad. Got everything marked out where it's going to be, and then he set down the blade and he started dozing, and it was just a very emotional moment.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting it
Yeah.
because you gather all of this time and this energy and these expectations, and you're going through this stuff with the house and trying to make sure things are right, and you want to. And I've put this pressure on myself of like, I got to get it there right this time. Like the house is going to actually like fulfill me, make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that I have to keep trying to keep in check is like, look, this house is just enabling me to glorify God, not to satisfy me. So keeping that in check. But then as he began to scrape that off, it was just this feeling of there's the newness that's coming, like the freshness, the starting again. It's very, very exciting, and I'm sure the next long time is going to be pretty emotional. Just seeing the things come to fruition and moving in a direction that's feels like you can see it. Like I feel like I've been spinning my wheels for so long,
Yeah.
for 5 months. Just you're sitting there, hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
But it's that's just the way, unfortunately, home building is right now. But then, I mean,
Because I told you the windows that you want, you went and picked them out. Like, oh, great choice.
great choice on those windows. You can have them in 5 to 6 weeks. No, months.
5 to 6 months.
I was like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
like that's a gut punch when you're
Mhm.
sitting there going, okay, because I mean, I built a house once. I understand the process, and you go through what we're doing now: dirt work, foundation. Plumbing comes in, they lay your subterranean plumbing, they pour your slab, they do the framing, they do the decking on the roof, they dry you in, then you put the windows in to finalize the dry in. So you can't go further.
Right.
So that means I can go that far, and then
We're
get
to
a-
stand still.
I get a Christmas present of windows. So we're going to figure that one out
No,
too.
it wouldn't be a Christmas present, bud. September, October, November, December, January.
Happy New Year.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Here's your windows.
Yay.
Happy Valentine's Day. Isn't that wonderful?
The realism is painful.
But it's exciting because things are
things are happening.
Things are happening. Things are underway.
Yeah. And like we were talking about earlier, everything is in the timing of God. Everything is in His place, and Him burning the house down through the satanic spawn of kittens, evil demon kittens.
Yeah, he went hunting with us. The cat that burned your house down.
No, the cat that burned the house down is dead. Snowflake, vengeance is mine, declares the Lord.
Okay.
The hawk took. Brownie was the one that the whiskers on his right side of his face were singed down to the face.
Yeah. Have they grown back?
Oh yeah, they're back now.
Okay,
his sister is evil.
Mm-hmm.
That witch, she's gone.
Yeah, she got eaten by a hawk.
She got taken out. Hard to be a white cat in the middle of a green field.
Yeah, you stick out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you stick out a little bit. I'm so excited for you, though, for you and Casey. I know just that aspect of seeing that begin is just been such a, like you said, you feel like you've been kind of just spinning your wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And so many unanswered questions and all those things. And so I'm happy for you, man. I'm really, really happy for you. That's big time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like,
Beauty
of Ashes, right? We got an episode coming out
Mm-hmm.
that's going to actually talk about this situation. One of them, when we shot interviews for it today, actually.
Yeah.
There are some things, because you would look at your house. There were some things that you would be like, I should have done this different.
Yeah. No, I mean, everybody who's ever built a house, no one's built the perfect house.
That's not true.
No one has.
Okay. You're probably right.
No one's built the perfect house. It's just not happening. You get into it and you realize what you thought wasn't what you thought, and, that's part of it. But there was a lot of things that we wish we would have done differently, and we did have the second chance to do it.
Right.
And we're going to have a house that is going to be able to be bigger for, like with the stuff doing the youth ministry now. We're going to have a giant bonus room. We're going to have, and in fact, the cool thing about that bonus room, we're putting a little kitchenette up in there. It's got its own bathroom. If somebody else comes into a place where they're in need, like, we've got the opportunity to bless somebody through. I mean, I don't know what God's doing with this. He may say, you're building this bigger house because later down the line, you're going to be able to use it for somebody. Or maybe it's even the fostering the kids, or who knows what it is down the road. But I know God's going to use this new house and this new endeavor for His glory.
Well, one of the things that I remember you specifically mentioned was that you really messed up and you gave the nicest view in the home to your son's bedroom.
Yes, I did.
And you're not going to make that mistake twice.
No, and that it was one of the things that screwed up the house plan so bad, is when we started by making the kids' rooms like a foot bigger, and then in each direction. So that was nice to be able to have a little bit more space. And then the second thing was like, we're taking that view back, because he's like getting the sunset over the pond, just beautiful every night. And we're like, what do you got? Look at that cool gravel.
Yeah, look at that gravel in my shop building.
Look at that.
Delicious. Look at that.
Neat.
Sweetheart, come over here and lay on the bed and watch. Let's watch this.
Let's watch the sun reflect off the shop building. It's going to be quick. That's a small window over there that it's going to bounce off of. But yeah, so we switched that up, and that's what really screwed everything up. Because it's not like you could just flip and mirror things, because if you flip it, now the house is backwards and upside down, essentially. So you got the front of the house is now the back of the house, and then we tried everything to do to try to make it work, and it ended up being that we just redesigned the house. Sort of. It's kind of the same house, but not really. It's just flip-flop. But
aren't you glad you didn't have that big elk in there?
Oh, God. Like, so many of the things. The first buck I ever killed.
Yeah.
The elk. I mean, even down to, like, the things like every single gun that I've cleaned up until this point has functioned.
Yeah.
Fully functioned. And it's
because they were in your closet. You didn't have them in a safe.
No, I didn't have them in a safe.
All your clothes fell on them.
Every single item of clothing blanketed the guns in the closet, so
protected them.
They had some rust and stuff, but it's actually kind of cool now that they got cleaned them off. They look like that CVA Cascade, the 308's got a cool patina to it now.
Yeah. It got a little hot, but it works.
It shoots, and then cleaned up the AR. The AK's got a problem, but which is the funny thing. Of all the guns, the AK's got the problem, but I think that's just because there's something too tight in the master mount that I've got on it. But just so many different things, even down to like Hurley going back in and getting Baby, my daughter's favorite little doll.
Yeah.
Just all the things that, some of the most valuable things in the house to us, other than the people, were saved. And we were home, so that makes it even better that we were there to be able to experience it and know how, and getting to see the intricacies, like how the fire department put out the fire mostly the first time, so we could go in and get a few things, and then the house burned all the way down. So like just that little, there's like a little bit of grace in there, in that, and it's hard to just, all of the things that have happened to us here. It's just impossible for me to not see the hand of God in it, because we know that His Word says that He's working all things together for our good, and that's one of those things. In the moment, it's the the meme, the big thumbs up, guy. Like in the moment, those things are happening, and you're like, thank you for that one. But it doesn't make it any less true. And it is those moments that we cling to those truths and think, if I didn't have Jesus when that house was on fire, I would have been a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard.
Right.
It was hard. But knowing that even God's going to use this, somehow, some way, this is going to be redeemed in a way that I won't be able to fully comprehend. Like it's coming. I just have to be patient enough and trust Him that He's going to do it. Because Casey and I talked about that multiple times. Like, I don't know how people go through things like this without the Lord. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just experiencing death, like, I mean, losing somebody, and you think, man, how do people that don't have eternal hope function?
I don't know. I really don't. It just boggles my mind. And it's something that I talked about last night at church. We started the book of 1 John, and he talks about your joy being complete, and the joy being complete comes from that eternal life and that hope of that eternal life. Yeah. Like, how can you not have that and have that? You can't have that complete joy. It's impossible.
Right.
Because there's only one thing that can fulfill that.
Right. And you see people searching all of the other places,
and it just leaves them in the same pit.
It just
every time
it blows. It's I don't say it blows my mind, because I do understand it.
Yeah.
But when I see people my age, I'm older than you are.
Mm-hmm.
40s, acting like they're 21.
Yeah.
In the aspect of like drinking, bars, and honestly, like, I see those things and I'm like, and they're just searching for something, searching for community, right?
Yeah.
Looking for community, looking for.
I mean, most of them will self-admit it. They'll say, like, well, this is my church.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll say, this is my church, or they're just, it's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism for something much, much bigger. And I'm not, that's not a cast judgment thing on anybody, because I do understand. I do understand this. We have a need within us for community. We have a need within us for acceptance. And people try to find that in lots of places, and people in our world today try to find that acceptance in a lot of the wrong places, which leads to
and what things. Often ends up happening is the need for finding it. You end up kind of finding it, but then it ends up coming down to almost a numbing effect eventually. Yeah, it's like, well, I can't find the answer, but what I have
numbs it.
It kind of makes it go away for a little bit. And I think that's one of the number one reasons with substance abuse is that. But God always uses everything, and He doesn't waste a hurt.
I agree with that.
He always comes.
But
through.
We have to be. But it does come back on us, and our willingness to say, "Okay, God, use this."
Yeah.
Not that God's not going to do it if we don't give His approval. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But for us to recognize it.
For what
it is.
Well, that's the second part of the street is when God does something in your life, you got two options. You either curse him to his face, or you say, "Blessed be the name of the Lord." He gives and he takes away.
I spoke in Berryville, Arkansas last weekend, and the weekend before I spoke just outside Albany, New York. And in Albany, we obviously do an invitation, but I went and I shared about losing my dad.
Mm-hmm.
The tragedy of losing my dad to leukemia when I was a little boy, and 18 people accepted Christ.
Yeah.
At that event. Like that's still this continuing of God bringing beauty out of ashes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is God saying, this was a horrible tragedy that you experienced, but here's a beauty out of ashes. Here's me stepping in. Here's me, bringing glory to my name through a horrible tragedy. And here's the deal. That took from my dad dying until, God brought about me traveling and speaking and talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking over 20 years before I really felt like glory really began to happen. Where that beauty really began to happen in my life. It took 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just trusting the Lord is going. And it may not be that. It may, if it was one person, was it worth it type situation. But
and it's also the like what we talked about. Like it's like the word is redeem. Like he is a redeeming God. Mm-hmm. He is a redeemer, not only of our souls, but I fully believe that he's a redeemer of all of our situations. Like he's got something in store for all of them.
That's exactly right. Because here's the deal: we all got our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My stuff, and God's grace in the midst of my stuff. God's grace in the midst of your stuff. Our shortcomings, our failures, it's incredible. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, God's grace in the midst of those things. It's. I think it's hard for people to understand, but God knew every one of our shortcomings. He knew every one of them, and still chose to love us. Still chose to send Jesus on our behalf.
Still climbed up on that cross.
Still climbed up on the cross. He knew every mistake we made or going to make, and he said, "Still worth it. Still worth it for you."
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and not only to the person that may not have a relationship with Jesus, but even to the believer that's listening to us right now. Jesus didn't just die for all the sins up until you accepted him.
Right.
He died for all the sins after.
Yeah, and he knew them all.
He knew them all.
Yeah.
All of them. And that's what blows my mind more than anything. It's just...
Yeah, because you look at me and you're like...
That's a level
Brad's an idiot.
That's a level of grace.
This Brad guy's an idiot, and the amount of grace that God has bestowed upon that moron is really, really something.
Yeah,
just really a testament of just the goodness of the Lord. Because that
guy, yeah. No, so things are good. Things are going well with the house. It's happening. Things are going good with all kinds of things right now. The show's going well.
Man, it is.
Everything's
The show's going
well.
so good. We got some exciting new episodes coming out. I can't wait for people to see Johnny Maxwell. Which we got a phone call from Johnny's wife today.
Yes.
Johnny's been having some medical things. He's had some internal bleeding stuff going on, but Johnny is officially on the heart transplant list. If you guys aren't familiar, Johnny Maxwell, one of our staff members, had a widowmaker heart attack. It was just like, oh man, my shoulder hurts a little bit. I think I'm fine. Almost lost him, and he has to wear what's that thing called?
He's on a battery.
He basically wears this battery vest. They have to plug him into the wall at night. Paul Powers jokes that Paul Powers jokes about it.
Start to get mouthy on me. I'm just going to unplug
Well, he says if we're out there deer hunting, because if the batteries start going low, it starts beeping. He goes, man, we got a big buck coming. I'm just going to unplug you. and
you're going to have to hold on.
You're just going to have to hold on till we get him dead. Can't be having you beeping and ruining a hunt. But Paul Powers and Johnny Maxwell and Trent Parrish, our staff guys down there in southern Oklahoma, are some big buck killers. And Johnny shot a buck of a lifetime, biggest buck that's ever been killed on Final Descent Outdoors.
It's a monster.
214 inches free range Oklahoma cattle ranch buck. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It is
Unbelievable. Just
every time I would watch the footage, you're just going through it, and he steps out, and you just go, golly.
I don't know what I would do. I just lactose my pants.
Aunt Gaggy just shows up in the back door.
Oh gosh, man, it's just a bad situation. But Johnny's calm, cool, and collected. He runs a thorn broadhead through that sucker, and
the story's just amazing.
It's unbelievable. It's
can't
unbelievable.
wait
I can't wait for people to see that episode. It's going to be so stinking good. Our whiteboard over here. Can you go to the wide?
Yeah.
Is it in?
Oh no, I had to zoom it in. I had it in earlier.
Yeah. What if we go to you?
You can
see the corner of it right there. Right. So that's our big whiteboard that keeps track of all of our episodes, our sponsor stuff, all that stuff over there. And so that episode is coming up, and then we got the Clay Clan. The story of the Clays. Matthias, Josiah, and Sterling, my 5-year-old. It's kind of our journey on our
story of fatherhood.
Season. Oh man, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. We got Hog Wild.
Oh yeah, we go to Texas. We do bow hunting with our friends from PSC down there with Noel and Billy.
Noel and Billy. That's got a cool heartwarming deal to that deal.
It does too.
I'm not going to say anything about that.
That's a great one. That is a great one. I love the fact that they included our trip to Corsicana, Texas, in the crappy hotel where we walked in on a woman laying in bed.
She was either sleeping or dead. I actually told that story last night.
Did you? Not on part of anybody think we were creepy. If you haven't listened to that podcast, we were given a room key. It didn't work, so we went to the front desk, and the lady ends up coming up with like the master key, opens the door, turns the light on, is like, here you go, and there's a woman in the bed.
And she's 3/4 of the way in the bedroom. I mean, she's back to go check on the bathroom at this
right,
point.
and I'm like, ma'am, there's a woman. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. And I was like, yeah, that's how people die.
And
if you'd have done that with me, I'd have shot you.
You've been shot.
Yeah.
In the face. Your face is gone because it's been shot off.
You took 6 rounds from a 45 ACP. Oh, I'm dumping it. You open the door on me at 3 o'clock.
Pray and spray. 3
o'clock in the morning, I'm dumping on you. You know,
somebody's going to be at least scared.
I think in that moment, you don't go to jail. I'm not a lawyer. Your dad's a lawyer, but I don't think I go to jail. If you walk in my room, my hotel room, at 3 o'clock in the morning, turn the light on, and walk in, and I kill you.
I have no idea the legal ramifications on that deal, but it's.
Well, I hate to bore you with it.
Sorry, I just
got hit by.
I'm malnourished.
No,
you're welcome.
No, I have a little bit, man.
Did it feel nice?
Contagious. It really did feel nice.
Just.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if anybody else yawned that's listening. Probably. Still going again.
Yeah. I bet they did then.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we just got some exciting episodes coming up, and then we mentioned this episode with you.
Yeah.
Where you share, and we get to see some footage of your whole house burning down.
It's going to be heavy, but I know God's going to use it in some cool ways.
Yeah. No, it's just don't make it Friday night church camp. You know,
cry night.
Don't make it cry night.
Friday night cry night.
Friday night cry night church camp. All right, boys. What are we going to do tonight? We're going to make these kids cry
until every person weeps. We're not leaving.
That's right. We're not leaving church camp until everybody's bawling.
Yeah.
Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya.
Cry. Cry to the Lord.
Show him your emotions.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how we know you're genuine.
That's how we know you're genuine, Adam. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been good.
It's therapeutic for you.
All of the podcasts are therapeutic.
You know what it's not therapeutic for? My butt.
Yeah,
these chairs
are brutal.
Guys, listen. If you would be interested in making a donation of a chair,
can we have a Office Depot sponsorship?
We need something. I got to replace these chairs.
They're brutal on the hiney.
I mean, we're gonna go eat lunch. And I'm glad we are. Because the blood flow to my feet is not great. My butt hurts from sitting in this chair.
Stand up and just immediately fall down.
I would. It's like sitting on the toilet too long. That's what I feel like. I feel like I've taken a 45-minute dump.
I'm glad I'm the only one, not the only one that's happened to. You stand up and you're like, I was on the toilet entirely.
I've leaned forward onto the shower wall. It just stood there so blood came back. And it hurts. It's like needles stabbing you.
Stuff that never happened before cell phones.
It didn't.
No.
It didn't. I saw a meme the other day. Had Hank Hill sitting on the toilet. He was just sitting there, and he's like, "What if we, taking a dump in the '90s before you had a cell phone?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's it. You just sat there. Maybe read a magazine. Remember, you had a little magazine rack next to the toilet.
I never did that.
You didn't ever have that at your house? Oh, I had it at my house.
No.
Anyway,
I didn't like touching them because I felt like the magazines were just covered in pee. Especially if it's that one down low.
Yeah, if it's right next to it, and you got kids
that is
can't
covered
aim.
in urine.
Yeah.
Well, the splashback has not been kind to that rack.
God, do I want the urine on the magazine that I'm going to pick up or Ray Clay's earwax? I'm trying to decide which one of those.
Both of the salve of life.
Guys, thanks so much for watching today's podcast. I hope it's been encouraging for you. God is in the business making beauty out of ashes. Life's not always pretty. It's not always easy. But when we lean into Him, He just has a way.
Trust your Redeemer.
Trust your Redeemer. Adam, where can people find you?
You can watch YouTube videos on Hurley Film or on YouTube at Hurley Films.
You can go back and watch him build a house.
Yeah.
And you can watch his house burn.
And now you can watch
and then
it
you can
built
watch
again.
him build it again.
Yeah.
It sounds repetitive. Season 2.
Season 2. Oh, wow. That got dark. That got dark.
So sorry.
That got dark.
Oh, if it's me, you'd expect.
Yeah.
Would you expect anything less? Would you?
No.
Wouldn't you have been disappointed if I didn't make
disappointed if that was a setup. That volleyball was ready to be spiked.
that? Oh, it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm looking forward to? Season 3.
Oh.
You can find Final Descent Outdoors. You can order our merch. Support this wonderful cause we got going on here. You can visit finaldescentoutdoors.com. You can also find us on the social medias. FD Outdoors on Twitter and Instagram. Final Descent Outdoors on Facebook. And I also want to encourage you to go check out Turkeys for Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Turkeysfortomorrow.org.
Yes.
Go check them out, and we'd love for you to be a part of that as well.
Get yourself a membership.
Yep, $50 a year.
Yeah.
Go and support a great cause.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure it's going to turkeys and saving the turkeys.
Yes.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the new studio look
I just covered
as
it
well.
up.
I know you did.
Let's cover here. You want more? Oh, my goodness.
Thanks for listening.
Go
And
get
watching.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Deuces.